enjoy this chillaxing class.
All right. Almost comes up. Right there. Right there. There. All right. Catchy music, don't you think?
It is, indeed.
Good morning, everybody. Here we are in northern Minnesota. I'm Dr. Jeff Evenson, board certified doctor of holistic health. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't pretend to be one. I don't practice medicine. I simply practice holistic health, and I help people get their health back through natural means without drugs or surgery. And another person who does that with me, well, not with me, but we're friends and colleagues. I almost called you doctor.
Not a doctor.
Not a doctor. Christine Jennings, a licensed massage therapist of 20 plus years of doing massage therapy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me back on the show.
Yeah. Did you ever think in a million years you would be on twice?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So I am looking at that as, potentially a new format. Hopefully, let me open up the chat. I see people streaming. Comment if you can hear us, please. I see the microphone dial. I'm always playing with new technology, and we're on a different computer, so with a different microphone setup. So I always want to make sure that we can be heard. So please, somebody jump in. There it is. Yes, Janae, thank you. Janae is listening live up in McGregor, Minnesota, if I remember right. Thanks for tuning in, Janae. So Janae, I'm going to ask one more question. I'm going to pop over to the Okay, that's what I thought. For some reason, it just won't let me. The technology, maybe I'm just trying to get too fancy for the show. Try to change it up a little bit. But let me know if you like the guest format too, because sometimes I think it adds a whole different dynamic on the things that we're going to talk about. And Christine hates it when I do this. I've learned that. When I have a guest on the show, I don't have notes prepared. It is just free discussion. And so you love that, don't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Christine Jennings. I'm from Rensselaer, Indiana, and I've been a massage therapist it'll be 20 years this summer. And I got into the quantum nutrition testing this last June and started working with my clients in July. Although muscle testing has not been foreign to me, I've been muscle testing for over 20 years with my clients.
Yeah. So when you're working, doing that deep body work, the deep tissue work and all that kind of stuff, did you learn over the years that sometimes massage, that you could pick up other things going on in the body just as you developed your skill set with massage? Could you kind of read deeper into the body with what was going on?
Yeah, absolutely. There's the physiological part of it. There's the emotional part of it. And yeah, there's been years of my thinking of, there's got to be more to just massage therapy and working with the body, working with the muscle tissue. And so with using quantum nutrition testing, I feel like I'm getting those layers addressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating because, so what we know what the benefits are of massage, right?
Hmm.
Lymphatic drainage, relax. It's not just about relaxation, though, is it?
No, it's not.
So,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
um, what I've learned over the years as a holistic practitioner that sometimes people need more than one type of modality
Correct.
in their healing journey. So massage is just another tool.
It is just another tool. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just another tool. Yeah. Like, there's red light therapy, infrared, saunas,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
all sorts of tools out there.
Yeah, and when you think about this, used to be the concept of my wellness center. If you know my history, I used to have a wellness center down in Mankato, and when I look back on that on reflection, I feel like it was too early to be accepted well down there. I started ahead of our time. But my idea was to have I had rented space to other healing modalities, so I had uh, acupuncture in there. I had massage therapists. I had a rolfer.
Oh, wow.
Um, there was also a hypnotherapist in there. Somebody who could do Reiki and hands-on healing, energy healing. Um, for a while, we had a midwife renting space there, and it was just wonderful to build such a community. And we just don't find those kind of communities anymore, do we?
No, we don't. No, it's not very specialized, or we've been covered with Midwestern medical thinking.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Christine, because do you find, one of the challenges as working as a holistic practitioner is when people come usually by the time people find me, they're they've been searching and searching and searching for a holistic practitioner that um, just realized we weren't centered very well. Um, they've been looking for somebody to help solve their challenges because they've been through the medical meat grinder, as it were. You've heard me talk about the medical meat grinder
Hmm.
before. Go to medicalmeatgrinder.com and see where it takes you. Um, and people are searching, but as a practitioner, one of the challenges that I have found over the years is helping people unlearn what they were taught, about
Right.
medicine. What have you experienced with that?
Gosh, there's so much. Where do I begin? I mean, they want a fast and quick solution.
Hmm.
They even hope that through the years, like the massage will make them pain free. And sometimes, it gives them a lot of relief in the time, but it comes back. And so, yeah, they want that quick fix. If it's a UTI, they want to take an antibiotic really quick to, like, cause the pain to go away. Or um, yeah, it's their first go-to, where it's not my first go-to. I've never gone the medical way all my whole life. I've been all natural. So it's kind of foreign to me, but that's exactly what I work with every day, is that mindset of a quick solution, a quick pill. Just give me something that will make me feel better. Um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I've experienced that too, where some people want that overnight solution that they're used to getting with medications,
great.
and so there was I can think of one time there was a elderly lady. She came in for a visit, and I was getting ready to do the full assessment with her. It was that type of visit, but she said, "No, I don't want any of that." And she pulls out a piece of paper that had all of her medical prescriptions on it,
Wow.
and it was quite a numerous list. And she goes, "I just want natural equivalents to all of these."
That's not possible always.
No, it's not possible, because of how our food system is. You look at some of the lists, and you don't have a statin deficiency in
Mm-mm.
your body. And I would, often look at a list like that, and one of the things that I try to do with clients that show up is it tells me right off that they're not probably eating well and their lifestyle is out of balance. I was going to say out of whack. Um, and to reduce a list like that, you really have to change the lifestyle.
Correct. And don't you find though too that when they come with a list like that, that they have gone from doctor to another specialist to this expert, and they're not looking at the body as a whole, and so
Right.
they're um, you know piecing what they think the solution should be in the end with different people, but they're not looking at the whole body, the whole system, and how it works. And so I think sometimes that causes um, more problems because they are taking one medication that now is giving two or three other symptoms, and now they have to go to another doctor.
Hmm.
It's just a crazy domino effect that is unnecessary and doesn't have to happen.
Right. Well, and then each doctor that they stop at doesn't often take the time to review the list of medications that someone might already be on.
Correct.
So they'll just add it to the pile of medications. You know, and because I'm not a medical doctor, I can't tell people what to do with their prescriptions when they come in, only to suggest that they have the conversation with their doctor and tell if they decide to work with me, tell them, let your doctor know that you're doing a natural health improvement
Mm-hmm.
program and you want their help to come off of some of those medications. Some, if not all, may be possible to get off of, you know. Um, and it's just that medical merry-go-round that you get. Once you get on that, you just spin and spin and spin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a product of that. I grew up, well, I'm retired Navy, um, and I've been on prescription and I've had the surgeries and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, it's hard to get off of that merry-go-round.
It is. You need a professional to help you get off.
Yeah,
Yeah, you really do. It's not just take a pill and or a supplement um, and go home and see in a couple weeks.
right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. The Now, do you find do your clients find the program that you put them on very challenging? Or do they just slip in and seem to?
And sometimes it's a mixture of both. Sometimes I have people that are already eating pretty well, and there's a very smooth and seamless transition. Other times it is a challenge because their diet is really it's affecting the way they show up in life, and so it's basically sabotaging, um, you know, their program. So we drastically have to make some changes. But honestly, drastically can't even happen right away. We really have to go slow and find what the uh, you have to you can't just change someone's diet overnight.
No, no.
You've got to go really slow. You got to make sure that they understand why they're doing it too in the
Hmm.
first place. Sometimes people need to see the big picture,
Hmm.
and then they work towards that big picture. Um, and sometimes once they I feel like my clients that I've had, after a couple weeks of working with me, they get that aha, like everything starts to click,
Hmm.
and sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4 weeks. It just depends on person to person. I do get that question a lot where, how soon will I feel a turnaround? And sometimes it takes a bit for everybody. It
Right.
really depends, again, um, what their lifestyle. Do they have stress at home? Is there emotional baggage? And then the physical piece with it. Maybe they, like you said, need a different modality. Maybe they need a chiropractic adjustment or, better sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, it's interesting when, some people, when I present a new program, one of the biggest questions I get is, why do I have to see you every week? Why do I want them to check in with me every week?
right. Well, I get that quite a bit. And the part is accountability to show up and be responsible for what they're eating, what they're doing in
Mhm.
life. Um, yeah, if without the accountability, I feel like it falls short of having that goal down the road. Yeah.
Right. So I had to let Louis in, who's got stuff hanging on his face. So yeah, the accountability piece is huge.
It is.
Remind me to tell a Louis story from last night, but um, the it's more than accountability, I think. Um, I get a lot of feedback on that. People have told me, yes, I definitely like having that check-in point every week.
Hmm.
But one of the things that often happens is when you're moving somebody into a new lifestyle, because I'm looking at their food journals, and I'm looking at their sleep schedule, when they sleep. I get to look at their moods, their energy,
Hmm.
um, their water intake, and all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
And it it takes coaching. I found that the coaching and mentoring part is a huge piece of the program,
Hmm.
because along with the accountability, you can provide encouragement and teaching things, because sometimes I don't have a one program fits all. I have a general structure
Great.
that fits everybody, but each session that I have with people is unique to that person.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because they may bring an experience or something that happened to them you
Hmm.
know during the week that I didn't see them, because we always check in, how was the previous week,
Hmm.
and they'll tell me something, and I say, oh, well, let's talk about that, and we can actually get into dialogue about that, and that's what I love about the work,
I
is
Yeah.
really being able to connect with my clients on that level, to say, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Here's how you can handle that maybe next time.
Yeah. For example, I had a lady during one of my coaching calls. We got into the emotional piece of it. Her liver gallbladder was uh, checking that needed support when we did the scan. Um, and then during one of the coaching calls, it just dove into I'm a little frustrated, I'm mad at my husband, and he's passed away.
Oh,
So he had passed away, and she was really upset,
yeah,
and angry that he died, and
right.
here she's got the
Understandably so,
responsibility.
yeah.
She's got a lot of responsibility at home. And so that's a piece we have to address
Yeah.
because, you know, it all goes together.
When you hold
So
on to that,
that,
to that emotion,
mm-hmm,
yeah.
mm-hmm. So yeah, we had to do some emotional um, talking that was personalized just for her.
Right.
And she was really appreciative
Mhm.
for that. I don't think most people can get that at a
Right.
regular office for
Yeah.
healthcare.
One of the things that I find refreshing in the practice is, and I've had a lot of clients tell me this over the years. They'll look at me and say, Jeff, you have said things to me that a medical doctor would never tell me, would never say to me. And what they're talking about are sometimes those situations where I'm calling people out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having that frank discussion to say, look, if you don't change something here, you're going to continue to degrade your health and all that. And in this past week, I had one of those frank discussions with a gentleman, and I told him, after hearing his report for the week, I said, okay, you're fired. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah,
What did
I
what did
fired
what
him.
did he do?
Well, he wasn't quite ready to make the changes I was asking him to make on his food journey. Okay. And I'll leave it at that. But week to week, he's telling me the same thing. Oh, Doc Jeff, I didn't do it this week. I'll do it next week. Doc Jeff, I didn't. Yeah, it was a tough week. Doc Jeff. And finally, we're halfway through his program, and we're just spinning wheels. And it's like, look, you're wasting my time. Okay. And so I call him out, frankly, like that. But then we'll talk about, okay, we're going to put a pin in it and come back when you're ready, because he wants to do it. He just hasn't accepted the steps that he needs to. He's not ready to take that next step, into I won't call it a healthier lifestyle, but into, or a step away from something that was impacting his life.
Do you find that that's a piece of not loving themselves when they don't do that?
Yeah. Yeah, you can get into all of that, and sometimes it's, well, we talk about the emotions, and I've sat there and cried with people, and I have to remind people too, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a talk therapist and all that kind of stuff, but I'm also not afraid to talk about the emotions that somebody is struggling with. And if I get a sense that it's more than what I can do in the office, I will refer them. I'll suggest they go find a talk therapist, or go talk to somebody that can help them on a deeper level, more maybe than I can help them. But even sometimes people are like, "Hey, that's all I needed. I don't," they just like to know somebody can actually hear them.
Yes. Yeah. People want to be heard. And when they are heard, they feel like they're cared for.
Yeah.
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 So, I had a question that I was rolling around in my head, and it disappeared off my tongue. Wow. Okay, so let's look at it from this perspective. When somebody starts a healing journey with you, is your objective to keep them in a program for as long as possible,
Not
or
necessarily.
are you hoping that they can learn something and be able to sustain on their own?
Oh, absolutely.
After working with you.
The first 12 weeks of working with me is where I tell my clients that's where the teaching's at. After 12 weeks, they should know how to take care of their body, um, how to eat, what not to eat, what to do if something comes up. Like I will tell them, hey, if if you eat something, and it doesn't seem like it's digesting right, take more of this and this. And so I will explain supplements, what they're doing to them, like how it's benefiting them. Explaining that they need more drainage. Sometimes things come up, and that's something that they can always take more of. Just to help themselves. But yes, after 12 weeks, my goal is not to just keep them on another program, but it is necessary to keep going if they're immune challenged. That we clean up the body, and we don't stop, because it'll come back with a vengeance. He's so stinking cute right now.
What are you doing?
Huh? He wants to come up. Hey.
This is what happens at the kitchen table discussions. Louis can be part of the show. So I'll tell this story now. We're going to go back to that, but I kept waking up during the night because somebody was making a scratching sound, and I couldn't figure out. It's like, what is that sound? And it finally occurred to me that as the morning went on, the scratching sound was going on again, and I finally realized it was Louis. Yeah, Louis. Oh, Louis. He must have fallen asleep on the floor at the foot of the bed and rolled funny, because he ended up sliding himself under the bed, and there's no carpet under the bed. It's just floor, and he had no traction to get out. So I had to get out and pull him out from under the bed. The poor guy was stuck under there. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna talk to us? Huh? Yeah, good boy. Go lay down now. We're on the show. It's not about you. Anyway, um, keeping somebody on the program. So 12 weeks. So then do you have a follow-on? 'Cause I call my first 12 weeks of phase one. Do you also do that
I
in
also
your
do
practice?
that, yes. I have a phase one, a phase two. Phase two is where we go a little deeper. And then phase three is where we do just maintenance. I
Yeah.
might see them, if they were to get sick or something would pop up, but it's usually something that they're doing on their own at home. And I'm seeing them maybe quarterly throughout the year, somewhere around there. So
Yeah. It's I often tell my clients I don't want them on supplements for the rest of their life. The exception to that, of course, is when they get to the end or when they graduate into phase three. Maybe they just need a daily multivitamin or something at that point,
correct.
or a mineral
Right.
or a fish oil or something. But the whole idea is to help them on their health journey so they can do well without us.
Correct.
I have phase three people that have been with me for many, many, many years. I've got a gentleman. Will you go? You were just a ham. I've had a gentleman who has been with me maybe 11, 10 years. You guys can't see this off screen, but this dog is. Go on now. You got to go outside. All right, I'll go put him out. But he's in his maintenance phase, and he knows when he should call because he feels off, and he'll say, "Hey Jeff, can I come in and get on the table?" Or "Hey Jeff, can you check me remotely, telehealth?"
Mhm.
And make an adjustment to his journey. So, I have a phase three package which is 12 visits in the package. Some people will buy that package and just come in once a month for a
Mhm.
checkup, whether they need it or not. And
that's nice. Yeah.
that's their health care for the year.
Mhm.
Of course, if you break your leg or your arm and all that kind of stuff, don't call me.
Mhm. Right.
I can't help you with that. That's emergency care, and the medical system is very good at reactive health care for that kind of stuff. But after you get it fixed, then you can call me because then we can feed you some good supplements
Nutrition and yeah.
to help your bone heal
Mhm.
and your tissue repair and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, and then I have to educate my clients that, especially when I'm in phase one and I'm working with them brand new, to educate them if something comes up like that where they're not feeling good or something's a little off, not to wait for their weekly call either. I want to know that instantly so we can get them support. And sometimes we need to increase something,
add
in their
something.
or add something to their program. And that's where we find sometimes where we find even deeper pieces too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely when they say something like, "Oh, this came up when I was in bed for 2 days because the family had the flu," I'm like, "Oh, tell me next time.
Yeah.
Tell me, and I'll help you get through that even
Yeah.
faster." So yeah, that's like I said, the first 12 weeks are the most educational, where you need to teach them the most.
Right. Well, it's funny because I've had people in between when they're in their phase two, they're on the 2 week cycle of their appointments. Um, they will get sick during that 2 weeks and suffer. They go, "Oh, I have an appointment with Doc Jeff. I'll just wait for my appointment." Well, I like to know as soon as something moves in because if we catch it early enough, we might be able to reduce how strong it'll hit them.
Yes, yes, yes. It helps the nervous system to, heal faster. I mean, it's just like a burning house, right? If you have a small little fire, get out quickly versus it being blazing, in 2 weeks. So
Right. Yeah. It's
Makes
just,
sense.
and the reason they don't call is because the medical system taught them to wait for your next appointment.
See, I'm not coming from that mindset, so I didn't
Yeah.
realize that,
They just,
It's a
it's
good
like, oh, the
perspective.
doc, I have a doctor appointment in 2 weeks. I'll just wait, and all that kind of stuff. And they're not used to having ready access, because if you're in the medical system and you get sick and you have an appointment, a lot of times you can maybe call the doctor's nurse or something, and maybe you'll get a call back, but the odds of getting in to an appointment earlier are next to zero.
Mhm.
Unless you go to urgent care
Right.
or the emergency room, or ED, whatever the hell they call it nowadays. Um, and now that's like quadruple the cost,
Wow.
right?
Wow. Yeah, it is.
So people just wait. Oh, it's going to cost me. I'll just wait. I'll be sick.
Mhm.
You know,
Hmm.
for a holistic practitioner, a lot of times you can reach out to the office, and my clients have a direct line through the client portal. They can direct message me, they can text me, email, or call, and I generally will answer that same day, if not
Mhm.
right away, unless I'm with another client. But usually that same day, I can get information back to them.
Mhm. That's comforting.
Yeah.
Comforting working with you. Yeah.
So, so how, what drew you into holistic care? I know you said you grew up in it, but that doesn't mean that it always grabs your attention.
Mhm.
Um, what was the primary driver that made you want to shift from massage therapy over to the nutrition work?
So one of my sons had colitis, and he
Mm.
had it for 3.5 years. And we had tried nutrition elsewhere. We had tried chiropractic care, and his body was wasting away. He back in high school, he was a wrestler, so he's really strong, very athletic, and he lost 30 pounds in 3 years.
Wow.
I watched him say things like, "Mom, when I die, don't mourn for me very long." And it
Ooh.
broke my heart because I could see how much pain he was in. Bending over to pick up something off the floor was miserable. His whole body just was starting to waste away. Yet we were doing all the things that supposedly we're supposed to do. But when it gets all down to it, it was parasites. And
Mm.
so, when you're not addressing that piece and they're taking over,
Hmm.
invading the body to such a degree, I feel like a lot of people out there die unnecessary deaths because they're not getting to the root.
Right.
And so it was my son that I was looking for a solution after 3.5 years. I'd had enough. I'd massaged him a couple times, and he doesn't always want mom to be massaging.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't getting to those deeper layers. A massage isn't gonna
Get into your.
get into your parasites. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not addressing it, right? So
Hmm.
like you can get temporary relief, but it wasn't long lasting relief. And so watching my kiddo, literally just, I felt like he was falling apart, and it grieves my soul it would grieve my soul to see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I had gone to another practitioner looking for a place for him to go himself, I asked her right then and there. I said, "Hey, you're muscle testing. I'm familiar with that. I do that with my massage therapy clients, and I want to do what you're doing right now. I
Hmm.
want to." It kind of lit me up that, like, is this something I could do? And she goes, "Yes, most definitely." And so I told her, "Tell me the classes you took. Tell me where you went. What links do I need to, apply to?" And I did all those things instantly. Within 2 weeks, I
Hmm.
actually did that, and I
Yeah.
was already
Wow.
connected to, you know, supplement line companies at that point. In 2 weeks, I moved very quickly, and I saw it as new pathway for myself to go with not just my son, but also with my massage clients in my community. And after approaching here 20 years here this summer, 20 years is a long time for a massage therapist.
It is.
Usually it's 5 to 7 years. And I thought, well, I don't want to just cold turkey, my profession and go work somewhere else. Like,
Yeah.
I love working with people and making them feel better. So yeah, like back in June when I saw that this was an avenue I could take and apply quickly.
Yeah.
It was the moment that changed my life in so many ways. And I've been able to help my clients that I've had on the table for years, where maybe one person comes in and gets that relief they're looking for, and I see them in a month and they're good. But the next one's coming in once a week and twice a week, with the same things showing back up, and the inflammation sometimes getting worse. And by aiming them to functional nutrition, I'm able to work with them, the ones that are really wanting to get some relief, and are ready. Is it's one thing to want relief and another thing to be ready for this. It's two different things. But they're the ones that are getting the most results.
So they're on your table getting a massage because that's what they know.
Right.
And you now have an opportunity to invite them into another level of healing for them, because
Correct.
they're coming back for the same things all the time. And that's fascinating. And since you've been doing the nutrition work, you've already been seeing some miracles, haven't you?
I have. Yeah. What do you want to know?
I put you on the spot with that one, didn't I? Do any of them jump to mind?
Gosh. I mean, I think the most surprised one, not for me, but for my client, the one has been on antibiotics since she was in high school, a teenager.
Wow.
For UTIs or UTI. And the only reason she's taken one antibiotic with me since she's worked with me was she recognized it was her own doings. She recognized it. And it was going to Florida and having a bunch of alcohol. Which the sugar load was causing that issue. And so changing the diet, cleaning the infection out, cleaning those pathways up, helping that with binders. I think she's shocked that, oh wait, I can live without an antibiotic? This is cool, and she recognizes what she has eaten that might slightly trigger it. And so the educational piece from week to week has helped.
That's cool.
I
always like, when people ask what stories do you have, and usually sometimes the only time we get to share those big I call them the super wins, the ahas, is with other practitioners. Like, oh, you won't believe what I was able to work with somebody on. And one of them happened with me. This was many years ago. I've been in practice doing this almost 17 years. And I had a woman come to me that had been what I would consider the most extreme constipation case I've ever seen. And for 25 years, since she was a teenager, she just could not move on her own. And so every day for 25 years, she would have to take something, a suppository, or drink a Metamucil, or something that would help her move. Her body was not moving. And so she came to me, she goes, this is what's happening. And it's like, you almost sit there in disbelief. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? And I always ask, well, what do the doctors tell you? Well, they have no solution, nothing. They just keep telling me, do this. And so I muscle tested her and put a program together for her. And when she came back in for her first weekly checkup, I said, "How was the previous week?" And she goes, "2 days in, I started pooping
That's awesome.
without having it." She goes, "I was in disbelief without having to take anything."
Wow.
And what do you think was the problem? Hard to say, right?
It could be a bunch of different
Could be
things.
anything.
Drainage, it could
Yeah.
be, yeah.
Anything. So I always remember it because she was a heart case. Her heart was the priority, and
Mm,
all her body muscle tested for was some cardio plus, just to feed her
her
heart. And once her heart got the food, sh- she started pooping every single day. And
Mhm.
why that stood out to me as one of the gems, because Dr. Yulin at the time, that's who I had taken my training from with nutrition response testing. On one of his audios, he does this thing called clinical pearls, and he said when you have a chronic um, constipation case, always check the heart.
Yes, the heart is the queen bee of the whole body,
Yeah,
right? It's gonna take from every part of the body just to survive.
yeah,
Yeah, and so it will shut down other areas of the body just to function.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. And I thought it was, when I listened to that, you always hear the clinical pearls from other practitioners. You file it away. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, maybe not. I'll see that.
Right.
Well, sure enough, it walked in my office. It was exactly like he said. And 1 week after feeding the heart, and poof, she started.
Mhm.
And once you open that channel up, the rest of the body will follow. The healing just starts to move in because now her body is detoxing and draining properly. We opened up the
Mhm.
channels, you
Mhm.
know.
I think it's cool what we do with quantum nutrition because we're checking what's top priority. So we may have a list of organs and glands that need support, but we're not just giving a product to each of those areas.
Hmm.
It's not about pushing pills or supplements, and so it's about finding, like you say, the main issue, the main cause. Which, if you take care of the main cause, then everything else will kind of fall into place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sorry, I had to let the dog in, and I figured I would grab the coffee while I'm up too. So, um, and that's what happens at kitchen table conversations, right?
Just a touch.
Um, you never know what's going to come up when you're doing doing the show live and unscripted like this. Um, I love I love the clients that come in who are so depleted. I had watch out, Louis. Watch out. I had a client who came to me after being on in the medical meat grinder for over 7 years. Okay, and she came to me. Um, the you and you don't have to be an empath to feel that she had no energy. There was
Mm-hmm.
just nothing radiating off of her. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see, look into her face, just so depleted.
Mm-hmm.
And her 7 year journey, she had been given a medical diagnosis of MS.
Mm.
Okay. And what the medical meat grinder did to her is they put her on chemotherapy. They told her she had lesions on the brain, put her on chemotherapy, um, which had the net effect of it killed all of her teeth.
Oh.
She had to have all of her teeth removed, and she's got falsies, um, and all of her hair fell out. All you picture all the side effects that we hear about, you know, chemotherapy,
Mm-hmm.
and they were trying to treat her MS with this, and they put her. They did a. There's a whole list of other things that they did to her that just kind of wrecked her body. And so when I tested her, I found, and this is often the case with people with this diagnosis of MS. You got to remember diagnoses are nothing but a bucket of symptoms that the medical system uses. Well, all of the symptoms that you're talking about might fit into this bucket, so we think that's what you have, and I'm sure there's other tests that they can run that can be more definitive, but at the end of the day, it's a list of symptoms and whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, and so I tested her, and what do you think I found?
Did she need energy support?
No, parasites.
Yeah.
And so she had her body was wrecked with all the pathogens inside of her, all the parasites. And so I put her on a parasite protocol, and I called her, with all my new clients, day 2 or 3, I'll call and check in with them and see how they're doing. And she, I said, "How are you doing?" And she goes, "Jeff, I can't stop crying." And
Oh,
I'm like, "Why?" You know?
probably happy tears.
And she's like, "This is the first time I felt like
Mm.
myself in over 7 years."
Oh, gave her life back to
Yeah.
her.
And then she's like, "Is it normal to be pooping parasites out in just a couple
Absolutely.
days?" I said, "Well, it's normal for you." And she had been moving
Yeah.
parasites out already. But what was even more remarkable is they were slated to go on vacation to Florida. And she has a couple kids and her husband, of course, and they went on the road trip to Florida, extended their time an extra week, because usually when they have gone over the last 7 years, they'll bring her along and they set her on the couch, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
They would go off and do stuff, and she couldn't participate. She just didn't have the energy and the juice to do it,
Mhm.
because I'm air quoting. She was sick,
Mhm.
um, and the year it was the first year in a long time where she actually got to participate. She had the energy to be able to participate
Mhm.
with her kids. They got to go to Disney World and all that kind of stuff. They extended their vacation an extra week,
Mhm.
and came back. And it's that kind of stuff that I feel like that's what charges me up when people come back with
It's exciting, isn't
you
it?
know
Yeah,
life changing. It's life altering.
it
Sometimes
is.
not every case is a life altering case.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, but what if people could learn the holistic lifestyle and suddenly realize, oh, I actually feel better doing this.
Great. Great. Yeah, and some people think that they can, there's beliefs out there that if I just eat meat, or if I just do this new fad, I'll get better. But that's not looking at the whole picture.
Yeah.
They've got to. I think that if more people, like you said, tried this, they would see that there's a whole nother level of healing.
hmm Yeah, and that's the holistic. That's the mind, body, spirit
Hmm.
connection. But when you're working with a coach, there's so many different elements that I think people have forgotten. I used to be that. I forgot I should be tracking my sleep. I forgot that I should actually watch what food I was eating.
Hmm.
Might surprise you. When I was a younger man, my bedtime snack, I used to do bedtime snacks,
Yeah.
eat before going to bed. Um, I would take a mixing bowl out and dump in like a half a box of Captain Crunch cereal and pour 2% milk on it and
Wow.
eat that before going to bed.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, no, if you know me today, if I did that today, I would probably die. It
You
could kill me.
you wouldn't catch me eating anything like that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Mm-mm.
it's just like I can feel it, the pain that it would. If I ate that today, it would hurt my stomach.
Hmm. Yeah.
It would physically hurt my stomach, because I've cleaned up my diet so much. I don't eat that kind of sugar in that amount. Am I absolute on no sugar? No, I'm not. Every once in a
Great.
while, I'll have a little treat. That's called life.
Hmm.
But I can do that because I've gotten my body back into health, and people just kind of we kind of forget because we've been marketed to, we've been propagandized to,
Hmm.
we've been told all these things. This is the way it's going to be, and we have to take people back. I call it take them back and help remind them. who they are, and then even look at the spiritual level too.
Absolutely.
Help them, because I know when I felt like shit all the time, my connection to God, to spirit, was terrible. Did not feel good. And when you don't feel good, the last thing you want to do is sometimes talk to God,
Yeah.
because or anybody for that matter.
Mhm.
But I found, it's like, okay, I feel better now. When I want to sit and talk to God, I can just sit there in the spot, close my eyes, I can feel it, His
Right.
presence, and that, I think
That's
that's an
awesome.
important part of a person's healing journey too.
Mhm.
And don't take that as I sit there and preach to people when they're in my office. I don't do that, because they're, well, one, I'm not a preacher, but that's not what they're here for. They're here for the coaching,
Mhm.
how to get their health back.
Yeah.
And if we do it right, I think the other things fall into place as they remember who they are.
Mhm. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. So what's big coming up for you? Anything?
Uh, like what?
I don't know. Are you going to any conferences, traveling?
Yeah, I'm going to an energetics class in a couple of weeks. Doing level 3 in April with quantum nutrition testing, and I'm going to eco here this next year for the Cellcore.
Okay. So you actually go to training on the supplements that you're using for your clients.
I do.
That's what jumped out as you were
Yeah.
saying that to me. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that way I'll understand the products even more than I do,
Hmm.
and hear experts share stories and nuggets of wisdom that I need to probably take back to the office and apply.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. You never know when you hear something about a supplement, how, and you don't get that with the off the shelf supplements.
Mm-mm.
When you go to a practitioner like us, I spend probably an inordinate amount of time studying and reading about the supplements that we use
Mhm.
that I recommend to my clients. I muscle test. I never just pull one off the shelf and give it to them and say, "Here, take
Mm-mm.
this."
Mm-mm.
I always test it, quantum test it, or muscle test it. I'm going to sneeze, I think. Excuse me. I'm okay, I think. Oh. Um, I muscle test everything.
Right.
Some people will call up and say, "Hey, doc, what should I take?" I say, "Well, I don't know. Why don't you come in? Let me test you."
Yeah. Yeah.
Down, down. It's not your turn. No, it's not your turn. He wants to. Louis thinks Christine needs some Louis time. No, he's looking at me for permission. No.
Yeah, I find clients will say, even working with me those first 12 weeks, a lot of times, we're learning about each other. And sometimes during those calls, people will say to me, "Well, I read this book, or I found this online, and I'm going to start adding this to what we're doing." And I'm like, "Whoa!" Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's teaching them that less is more.
Right.
And so,
Go lay down.
yeah, it's that component as well as, um, like you said, I want to, if we are going to add, a protein shake and it's not from my office, I want to muscle test that. I want to
Yeah.
see how it's
Go lay
responding.
down. Um. Yeah, and that's a great point, because some people will, when they engage you as a coach, a health coach, you know, there's we'll create a program for them, and that program is unique to that person. Okay,
Mhm.
but they may be so used to, at that point, still continuing to look for the other things.
Mhm.
Oh, I saw a TV commercial on this. I want to give that a try. No, 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 no. Tap the brakes here, uh, because we have to give the program time to work.
Yes.
And when they keep throwing in other things, they'll ask me, "Hey, Doc Jeff, should I start taking this supplement. I read about it, and sometimes I won't tell them no right away. I like to, especially if they're in person. But I can do it on telehealth too. I say, tell me what it is, and let's test it.
Mhm.
And quite often, it will test weak. It doesn't test for their body. And I'll say, not today. We're not. Your body's it's too much.
Mhm.
Um, it reminds me of a woman that came to me. She was in her 70s, and she came in, and she's 3 weeks into the program, and 4 weeks in, and we hit 5 weeks, and things should be getting better at this point.
Mhm.
But she's like, Jeff, honestly, I'm feeling worse.
What was she doing?
Well, I looked at her food journals and I said, okay, because sometimes I've had people in the past not put everything down on their food journal.
They're not honest.
Um, but she was putting everything on there. I said, okay, your food looks fine. You shouldn't be there. I said, are you taking the supplements as I've asked you to take them on the schedule? And she goes,
Mhm.
yes, I'm taking your supplements the way you told me to take them. I said, and it was the way that she said it. I said, what do you mean your supplements? She goes, well, I'm taking your supplements and the ones that I've been taking. I'm like, oh. And I said, on your next visit, bring those supplements in. So she brought them all in. Christine, she was taking 17 other supplements
Whoa.
in addition to the program I had put her on.
And let me guess, was it clogging her up?
Yeah, the body can't process all of that stuff. And it was all nutraceutical stuff, it was all synthetic
Mm.
supplements and all that kind of stuff. And so I like to show and tell, and I muscle tested every one of those, and every one of those tested weak, except for the ones that I put her on, that I recommended she take. And what happened a week after she stopped taking all that stuff?
She get better?
She comes in, she goes, "Holy cow, Jeff, I feel so good. I had no idea that because her body was just overwhelmed with all the crap that she was taking.
Yeah.
And because of the marketing and the propaganda that goes with it, it's
Mhm.
just wow,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
like reminds me. I might have said this last time you had me on the show, but I had a lady on day one when she came in. She brought all her nutrition that she was taking, things that were from Amazon or from this or from that company, and there was about 30 of them, and only one vitamin C was
Yep.
the only thing that like her body was like, yeah, it checks okay, but do I need it? No, because that's
Yeah.
a whole nother question, right? Um, and on day two, when she came in for her report of findings, I asked her, how's your day? She's like, my low back pain is better, and I'm like, you know, okay, that's awesome. Have you done anything different? She goes, I took your recommendation of the items that you told me how they checked, because most of them were toxic. She goes, I just quit taking them, and my low back pain's feeling better. And I'm like, would you like to know why? Like your
Yeah.
kidney has to filter all that,
Yeah.
and when it's trying to filter toxins, um, that's hard on the system. And so things that you may think that look good on the bottle, that looks like they're all natural, or these are clean. This, look at this. These are good, healthy things for me to take, right?
Yeah.
And I think she meant well. Obviously,
Hmm.
she's trying to do a holistic kind of way. Um, Yet, it's not what her body wants
Right.
specifically. And yeah, just because it looks good on a bottle doesn't mean it's a good product.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The ingredients are huge, and so typically the supplements that practitioners like us use are um, usually obtainable only through healthcare practitioners. You know,
Mhm.
now the internet adds a new dynamic to that, and some people will say that they can buy things like some of the brands that I carry on Amazon. Well, that may be true, but they've also been finding a huge string of counterfeit products. The bottles and everything look like
Mm,
the supplements that I have them on, but they're not the same ingredient. They might be called the same, but there's the quality, they're counterfeits.
Mm-hmm. Which
And
could
so
be
you
dangerous.
can't, yeah, it could be dangerous. It might, give you a misleading sense of
Mhm.
hope and improvement when, you might be trying to save a few bucks. And I understand that some of the supplements we sell are not inexpensive, but they're not cheap either.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
good quality things designed to help us, and we use them as a tool to help people move into good health.
Mhm.
You
Do you
know,
find if they know that there's a certain supplement that they need, yet they don't want to do your program, that they can take care of themselves at home? As far as like, um, you know, guessing, they're thinking that they understand what they should have, but when they're trying to piece like that and buy online, they're
yeah,
missing the picture.
yeah. They
Mhm.
they they may hit the mark for a little bit,
Mhm.
but at some point it will stop working because they're maybe missing some of the pieces we talked about earlier: the
Mhm.
accountability, the
Mhm.
encouragement, or being able to test each week what the body is needing, and something shifted or will shift in that process, and they don't catch that.
Mhm.
They may need to. They don't catch the change in what their body is asking for,
Mhm.
and so they get better for a little while, and then it just goes worse again.
Mhm.
And that's the typical trend, you
It
know.
is. Yeah.
But all right, hey, so what about the LMNT? All right, Marie, thanks for the question. What about I don't ever go to Target, so if it's LMNT, Target is probably selling that direct through they probably have uh, an agreement with LMNT. Um,
So element T is electrolyte for people that don't know what element T is.
yeah, thanks.
Um,
Yeah.
but yes, they could probably get it at various different areas. If with that company, I think I like the original
Hmm.
one the best versus some of the flavors, and not because of taste. They actually the this I think it's a citric acid in it,
Yeah,
perhaps,
it's the
that doesn't check.
citrus. Yeah,
Yeah, that doesn't check as well. So if I had to recommend the best product from that company, it would be the original without a
the raw.
flavor. Yeah, the raw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've never had the raw. I like the flavor.
you like the flavors.
Grapefruit is my favorite flavor.
Yeah, I've had quite
Um,
a few of those.
Great question. Hey, if there's any other questions, we're nearing the end of the show. We should wrap it up here. But if there's any other questions, I should have put that out. Say hi in the comments where you're from, watching from, and whatnot. But if you have any other questions, we'll continue this banter here for another a couple minutes and see if any questions come in that you want to know about. Maybe questions about Christine or from her perspective.
What was Janae? I'm guilty of that for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other questions up there. No. Renee and Marie. All right. Well, while we're waiting for questions to come in, so if if anything we said here today um, resonated with you, I always like to encourage people. I do have uh, uh, I have time slots open next week for new clients. Um, you can always, I would always recommend taking that next step. Oh, there is a question. Janae is wondering where you went to school, Jeff, and for how long, and was it online or in person? Oh gosh, good question. Um, Janae, I started, like Christine, I had health conditions that got me into holistic health, and I wanted to learn how to do the techniques that the practitioner I was seeing did,
Hmm.
because it was so cool. It had such an impact. It was so cool. The
That's
mus
exactly how I
it's
I
like
fell in love with
the
it.
muscle testing was so cool and whatnot. And
Hmm.
so um, I asked my practitioner. I said, "How do you get into that?" And she told me where the initial school was. It was I was the technique at the time was nutrition response testing, and the school is down in Clearwater, Florida. It's still there. Um, But in order to get into that class, I had to be able to get an account, a vendor account with Standard Process, a wholesale account with Standard Process. So I called Standard Process, and they said, "Oh, you can't get an account with us unless you have a master's degree or higher or are a student of." Well, I decided to go back to school, and I went back to college, and I got my degree. I got my master's in health arts and sciences. And then I was able to get into nutrition response testing school down in Florida. And I attended that. That program at the time was um, 6 months long, but we had to go down for one weekend a month for 6 months down to Florida. And they would teach stuff, they would teach us content, and then send us back to our practices to practice the content we learned. And then when we would go back, we would have a practical exam and had to demonstrate we could do the techniques and all that kind of stuff. And I did that. And then over the years, I've continued education. I my my most recent ventures were through Trinity School of Natural Health. Uh, I took two of their courses: certified uh, natural health practitioner and certified holistic health professional. Okay. And what I didn't realize when I was taking those, after I took those, along with the years of experience that I had, I suddenly found myself eligible to be able to sit the boards, to the board exams, to become a board certified doctor of holistic health. And I reflect back on that now. That was, holy crap.
It's a pivotal moment.
It was. And so I sat the boards, I took the exams. And passed, and so now I have yearly requirements for continuing ed to keep that up, of course. But yeah, it's the two programs that I took with Trinity School of Natural Health. I did them back to back, no breaks in between, for 19 months.
Wow, that's a lot of schooling.
It was 19 months, and I was so exhausted at the end. And when I saw that the opportunity there to take the board exams, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know.
Which is the perfect time to do it, right? Right out of school.
Right out of school, and so I did, and I'm really glad I did, because it's been a while. So here, I'm going to put her question up on the screen. If you were going to start from scratch today, do you have any recommendations of programs to start with? I'm currently an RN and wanting to be more on the natural and holistic path. Oh boy, I know so many RNs, medical professionals that are in the quantum nutrition testing program. Quantum nutrition testing.
Yes, we have a level 1 in Chicago coming up here soon.
Yeah, and there's nurses in the business coaching program right now. These people, one nurse, we both know her. She was a cardiothoracic trauma nurse.
Is she in Georgia? South Carolina?
North Carolina, I think.
Carolina, yeah.
And has made the shift into quantum nutrition testing, and so that is, I think, getting into quantum nutrition testing. And then there's some business coaching programs available through that. And if you're interested, Janae, send me a note, and I can send you an affiliate link that will get you more information on that. And if you sign up, of course, I'm always looking for people to send through as a, affiliate. I always try to be, I don't want it to sound underhanded or under the table. Affiliates get a kickback for referring people into the school. So when I send you the link, if you decide to sign up, please use that link. But if you want to talk about it separately, direct message me, Janae. We can schedule a non-nutrition time. I'll send you a link to get on my calendar for those type of discussions.
Right.
And would love to be your catalyst into launching into holistic health.
Absolutely.
I would love to do that with you.
Yeah.
Let me know if that answered your question, Janae. Okay,
I
good.
think she'd do great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's such a now the conference we're going to,
Which one?
the Eco conference,
Okay.
is by Cellcore. It's one of our vendors.
Mhm.
But the conference, I've been going, this will be, I think, my 10th year or 10th time going. And ECO stands for Exponential Clinical Outcomes. Okay. And when I went to my first time there were maybe a couple hundred people. And at the every time I go to the eco, every time I go back, there's more and more people there. But the doctors who created the Cellcore product line, they always open up with how many medical professionals are in the audience.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a great
And they'll
question.
go by nurses, they'll go by medical doctors, they go by, and every year more and more and more hands are up,
That's awesome.
are
Gives me
raising
chills.
up because they've had enough. They
Mhm.
know there's something more. And I
Mhm.
don't think people go into the medical field. I believe people intentionally go into the medical field because they want to help people get well.
Yeah, they have good intentions. Yeah.
But
But
unfortunately, sometimes the system, yeah, they're
but how often do they see people not have diabetes anymore?
right,
Or not have to, take this, this, and this and
yeah,
actually get better.
yeah,
If anything, they have to up the dose and up the dose. And
yep,
yeah,
or yeah, try different new things.
yeah.
Um, but there's, yeah, I'm even trying to talk my sister into looking at it because she's a PA in dermatology.
She'd do great as well.
She would do phenomenal,
Mhm.
but uh, she's not ready to let the medical side go yet. She goes, no. And my other sister is a lab tech, and when I told her um, we were having dinner. I said, "Yeah, I muscle tested today. I have parasites."
Mhm.
And my sister's like, "Oh, you do not have parasites," and she could not, and was very dismissive to me of the reality that I would have parasites. And I so wanted, after I started pooping them out, I wanted to send her the picture and say, okay, if I
What
don't
are
have
these?
parasites, then what the hell am I shitting out of my body? Because, you know, it's just those are lessons for me, because it's an awareness that some people aren't ready, to uh, embrace the holistic lifestyle,
Mhm.
you know, and sometimes you have to ask people, well, what did the human race do before medical science came along?
That's a good question.
You know, medical science is young compared to human history. It's only
Mhm.
been around for what, 140, 150 years.
Mhm.
And what did people do? Well, gosh, they lived off the land. They ate good food. They didn't have all this processed shit that we can go to the market and buy.
Great.
And it was all live, real food,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think you'd have fun, Janae. Let me know if
Mhm.
you want to get together. Um, okay. Well, thank you so much for coming to Minnesota and being on the show.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, it's and folks, throw in the comments if you want to see more of this, or if you want to see Christine back. Um, and I will do my best to make that happen. But I think it could be fun doing the interview style of the show. This is episode 90 today.
Whoa.
Episode 90. I can't believe that I've been streaming this show for 90 weeks, 90 weekends.
Well done.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah, I think so. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that I've been doing it for that long.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm at that point where it's like, okay, what's next? Where do I want to take the show? So
Mhm.
maybe this is it. An interview format with different people.
That would be cool.
So,
Yeah.
but I don't think I could get everybody to come to my kitchen table.
Perhaps not.
No. So
Road trip.
road trip. Yeah. So, all right, folks, thanks a lot for tuning in. Love you guys. If you're interested in getting on the calendar for myself or on Christine's calendar, let us know. You can direct message either one of us, or direct message me and say, hey, I'm interested in working with Christine, and I'll get your information over. Thanks, Janae. Appreciate that. Oh, what do you?
Louis wants to finish the show.
Louis knows the show is over. He goes, it's about time, you people. Yeah, come on up. There you go. There we go,
Hi.
Louis.
Hey, baby.
Louis is my buddy. Yeah, my big baby. And you're allergic to some dogs.
I am allergic to dogs, yes. Yeah, I've realized it's the parasites that the dogs have that I'm allergic to. So Louis
Yeah,
not.
Or their dry skin and all
Yep,
that.
yep.
Oh, Louis
Oh.
like, I don't have parasites.
No, he does not. So I'm fine with you.
Yeah. So, all right, folks. Thanks a lot. We will. Oh. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you later. And thank you again for coming back on the show. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was great.
Talk to you later. Oops. Wait. There.